This is a Victorian emigrant ship and the year is the 1860s. It takes a family a lifetime to save the passage and one crossing to find out what it costs. This is your family and this is that crossing. There is a kind of hope that is really just despair with its bags packed. You have it now, on a wet quay in Liverpool, holding a ticket to a country you cannot picture, because the country you can picture has finished with you. £8 a head, steerage. It took everything. In exchange, a berth the size of a coffin, food you must cook yourself, and 3,000 miles of the North Atlantic in the worst months to cross it. The ship is the Caledonia, and she was built to carry cotton, and she carries you the way she carried cotton, packed below in the dark as cargo that happens to prey. The quay. You are the father, and you have done the arithmetic one last time, and it came out the same as always. There is nothing behind you. America is not a hope. It is the absence of England, and just now that is enough. They inspect you at the gangway. A doctor glances at 400 faces in an hour, the same glance the workhouse gave. The poor are always being glanced at by men in a hurry. A cough, a fever, and a family is turned back at the plank, and there is no refund for the unwanted. Your family passes. You go down the ladder into steerage, and the light goes with you, and a hatch closes somewhere above, and you understand that for 5 weeks the sky is now a rumour. Steerage. Learn the between decks because it is your whole world now, and it is the size of a barn and holds 500 souls. Berths in tiers 2 feet apart, a plank and a straw mattress, married couples and single men and children stacked like the cotton bales that came before. There is no privacy for anything a body does. You learn, fast, the particular dignity of the poor, to look away. 500 people spend 5 weeks pretending not to see each other, and it is the only kindness the ship allows. When the sea is calm, you are let up on deck in shifts, an hour of grey sky and cold spray, and it is the best hour of the day, and you spend it looking at a horizon with nothing on it. The most hopeful thing you have seen in years, nothing that owes you or is owed. Well, the mother. You are the mother, and the ship is your workhouse laundry all over again, the same wet, the same women finding each other in the dark and holding the whole thing together with talk. The women run steerage. You keep your family in your head, as the grandmother taught you, because someone must, which berth, who has eaten, whose fever is rising. You have 6 to count now, in the dark, by touch and voice. 6, hold 6. The storm. On the 11th day, the sea decides to remind you what it is. It begins as a heave and becomes a war. The hatches are battened, sealed, because a wave down the hatch would sink her. 500 people are locked below in the dark with the storm, in the smell, as the ship climbs and drops, and the lantern is put out because fire is worse than dark, and now it is only dark and sound. You find the one prayer that has no words, that everyone finds eventually. That is just the name of the person you love, said over and over into the noise. She holds. On the 3rd morning the hatch opens and the light comes down like something poured, and 500 people crawl up into it, grey and emptied and alive, and stand blinking at a calm and enormous sea, and no one speaks. The grandfather. You are the grandfather, and you should not have come. Everyone knew it and no one said it. 69, and a chest. The workhouse winter already half took, and the storm took the rest. You do it quietly, in your berth, over 4 days, so as not to frighten the children. The last work of a working man is to be no trouble. You are not afraid. You are only sorry to have paid the fare and not seen the place. The deep. Now learn what the sea does with the poor who do not finish the crossing. A man who dies at sea is given to the sea. They sew him into his own blanket, so the living have a task, a thing to do with their hands instead of their grief. Your father, who broke stone in a workhouse and crossed an ocean at 69 so his grandchildren might stand somewhere better, goes over the side with a canvas shroud and a bag of sand into 3 miles of cold water in a place with no name and no marker. The grandmother does not weep at the rail. She weeps later, in the dark, alone. In the morning she is at the stove portioning the oatmeal, counting the family. 5 now. She knows how to carry a number down. The children. You are the son, and you are 11 now, and a ship is the best thing that has ever happened to you. For a child, steerage is an adventure. No mill, no bell, just 5 weeks of other children and rope and weather and the vast rolling toy of the sea. You watch your grandfather go over the side and you cry, and then, because you are 11, you are playing again by afternoon, and the guilt of that will find you in 30 years, not now. and you are the daughter, 14, and you have understood that the family is smaller, and that when you land, whatever America is, it will be built by the women of this family holding on. You start helping your mother portion the oatmeal. No one asks you to. That is how the watch gets passed down. The landing. On the 34th day, there is a smell before there is a sight, land green and rank and enormous after 5 weeks of salt. Then the sight, a harbour so wide it does not look like a harbour, a city climbing out of the water. 500 people crowd the rail and go silent, and then someone begins to weep, and then everyone does. The sound a body makes when it has hoped for something so long that arriving feels like breaking. But you do not simply walk off. First the inspection, the great hall, the doctors, the questions, the chalk mark on the coat of the ones held back. You have crossed 3,000 miles and buried your own father in the deep, and it can still end here at a desk with a man's glance. Your family passes. You walk out into a country that does not know your name, that owes you nothing, but that has one thing England never offered. It does not already know what you are. No character to withhold. No parish that owns your children. No paper, 40 years old, deciding your worth. You are, for the first time in 3 generations, merely poor. And not yet, not here, not this morning, condemned. You board 6 and you land 5. You will teach this arithmetic to children who will not understand it, because they will be born already standing on the ground you crossed an ocean to reach. That is not despair. On this side of the water, that is arithmetic that finally comes out ahead. One family packed into the steerage of a wooden ship, chasing a country that had never heard of them. History is full of these crossings. We are opening them one family at a time. Subscribe, and no one gets forgotten twice.